everybody. My name is Dr. Bliss. I'm the Director of Percussion Studies here at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and we're so glad you joined us for the UT Percussion Podcast, Senior Clinic Edition. We are going to be filming some small podcasts over the next couple of weeks here in November of 2012, as a lot of you students are getting ready to take the WTS, MTS, and ETSBOA senior clinic auditions, and we thought we'd pitch in and see if we could help out. So these podcasts will be performed by several of my students along with myself, and we'll be working together to try to give you some helpful hints and tips as you prepare for your auditions upcoming in the next several weeks and months. So please note that we don't think that our interpretation of these pieces is the only way to do these. So if you have gotten instruction otherwise, certainly listen to your teachers and all of those good things. But we do want to give you some feedback, especially for those of you students who are in more remote locations throughout the state of Tennessee and possibly don't have a private instructor available. We thought, why not use the internet to share some of the things that we do here at UT. So we hope you enjoy these. We'll be doing MTS BOA excerpts this week and then releasing the others very shortly after. You're always welcome to email me here at the university. My name, again, is Andy Bliss. My email is abliss@utk.edu, and you can find the UT Percussion Studio on Facebook if you search UT Percussion, and our Twitter handle is @UT Percussion. So best of luck to you in your audition, and we hope you take something enjoyable from this series of podcasts. Have a great day. Hello and welcome back to the UT Percussion Podcast. I'm Andy Bliss and this is Colin Walker back with you from Allentown, Pennsylvania, and he's prepared the marimba portion of the WTSBOA Senior Clinic audition music. As you guys know, in the west portion of the state, your audition expectations are to play the timpani and marimba, snare drum, and castanet etudes all as one etude, reading the rest in between and taking them literally. For our podcast, however, we've broken it up into 4 sections so we can focus on each individual excerpt. So thanks for joining us, and we'll get started here. So Colin, what are some of the things that you found interesting about, say, these first 2 measures of the etude?
Well, in these first 2 measures, the first thing I noticed was the pickup with those 2 16th notes, the A and the G, leading to the downbeat with the F sharp. So the way I approached that pickup was with my outer mallet, my number 4, and I executed it this way. And then in my left hand, with those quarter notes, I used just a nice legato stroke and crescendoed slightly throughout, leading up to measure 11 in this etude.
Good. So you can see that, for a more advanced four mallet player, this is a pretty straightforward split between the left hand and the right hand. The left hand is kind of playing a rising bass line while the right hand has more of an ostinato. However, if you've never played four mallets before, I could see this being a little bit daunting. And so definitely take those sticking suggestions and use them as a way. You don't have to do the exact same sticking in the left hand. You could use all the same mallet, or you could use different mallets depending on what's the most comfortable for you. There's a couple ways to attack it. But the most important thing I think that Colin said is the crescendo. Make sure that that crescendo, which is notated there, we kind of have the music needs to move forward as we move into the forte marking in measure 11. Great, what else?
Well, like Dr. Bliss said with the stickings, experiment. I know when approaching this etude, I've used a couple different stickings, and actually recording the full run, I didn't necessarily use the sticking that I had practiced with fully. I just felt more comfortable executing that. So do what makes you feel comfortable. But anyway, moving on, down to measures 11 and 12. Make sure you're subdividing through that. Just think space. So really bring it down and create a nice arc through those 16th notes. So, and then you release on the A, and then you're back into the section with the triplets.
Great. Yeah, it's nice groovy kind of section there in the second couple bars. So, like Colin said, just make it feel that way. Don't rush through it too quickly. You said the tempo marking's 80. Is that correct?
Yes.
From the prior timpani etude. So just hang on to that as you move in here. So. Okay, great. So then we get into measure 13. How did you attack those two bars?
Measure 13, I would say, is similar to the top line. It's just, you could say it's in double time, and now you're filling in triplets in the right hand. So just approach that the same way you would with those first two lines, and the same with the left hand. Nice legato stroke, crescendoing throughout. And then in measure 15, you have that 30-second note run. Just make sure you relax in that. Don't try to overplay it. Strive for accuracy and keep your subdivisions, and make sure you're releasing on that 8th note on beat 4, and then a nice solid downbeat on beat 1, which then will get you into the next etude, which is the concert snare drum.
Yeah, I think again, for someone with some experience playing four mallets, measures 13 and 14 are kind of straightforward in terms of the rotation. Just maintains the same in the right hand. If you haven't played a lot of four mallets before, this is a great way to dive in, and you can do certain exercises away from the instrument, working on your rotation, just to get that motion in the right hand flowing so that you can fill in those triplet rhythms nice and easily. Just sit on the floor, put your legs straight out so you make kind of an L, and then put your mallets out to your left and right, and just practice playing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on the floor so you can get some fluidity of motion. Then when you go back in the front of the keyboard, it's not nearly as complicated.
Right.
So, good. One last thing. We didn't talk about this at the end of the timpani conversation, but note that there is a tempo change, which is twice as fast. The 8th note equals the quarter. So as soon as you hit that last note, while you're practicing the marimba etude, you should probably get in the habit of starting to count at the faster tempo, and make sure you leave those 4 bars, and you have a plan for how you're going to dump your mallets and get into the snare drum setup, get your sticks up and running, all while counting, just like you were playing in your wind ensemble or orchestra section, and you had an instrument change, and then boom, you're ready to go. So you probably need a stand with a black towel on it, or something of that nature to make sure that you can transition smoothly. But most importantly, make sure you begin counting right on the downbeat of the marimba part, and not thinking of that tempo change as something that happens later. And that way you can get those 4 bars of rest right in time, and then be ready to start the concert snare drum etude, which we'll be releasing very shortly on our next podcast. So thanks to Colin, and we really hope you guys are enjoying this. As always, you can send us a message on our Facebook page or on Twitter at UT Percussion. My name's Andy Blitz. I'm the Director of Percussion here at UT, and we really appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot.